iPhone SE 2020 versus iPhone XR. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1 and see which one could get there first. Now, keep in mind, we are rocking with an Apple A12 Bionic on the right and Apple A13. Just look how petite that Apple logo is on the SE 2020. A13 Bionic on the left, 3 gigs of RAM on both. And many people have been saying, yo, Nick, I left the XR. I'm going back down to the SE 2020, and the SE 2020 says I will boot up faster than you, XR. Now, when it comes to unlocking both these phones, we cannot directly compare them because they both do unlock different. But what I like about the newer SE and the older iPhones is that you don't really have to look at it. It's just a one-step process. Place your finger on the home button and you're in. Whereas with the XR, you do have to look at the Face ID scanner. And while it's very fast, I do think, having a Touch ID scanner can be more convenient for some people, although you get better security here with the XR. So confirming their software on both do feature iOS 13.4.1, so their software is up to date. Okay, so we've arrived at the app test. You can see everything closed out for the XR, and then over here, everything closed out for the iPhone SE from 2020. Let's begin with clock. Very similar. Again, I only put a few basic apps to show you that you're not gonna get a big difference. Going into weather, a little bit quicker there for the SE. We'll go into App Store, and you can see pretty similar performance. Running through the app though, should be a very small hair difference to the SE 2020, a little bit faster, just loading up certain things, but it's not gonna be enough to notice any of a difference. Let's go into PUBG Mobile and see which one could load this game up first. Now with the A13 Bionic, this thing should be a little bit quicker than the XR, but again, you can decide, do you want a little bit quicker or do you want, bigger screen, because the XR is going to give you a bigger screen. Let's hit start here and match up here and see which one can get into the match first. Now, keep in mind, again, though, you do have a bigger battery on the XR too, so this can be a reason to pick the XR, and we're already in the XR's gaming first, but the XR is no slouch in this department, so I wouldn't say this is going to be as major as like if you're coming from, say, an older iPhone. I was so used to gestures, I was about to fling that OS, but that one doesn't. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2 and see which one can load this game up first. Let's hit play and see which one can get to the game first on both of these, and you've seen that was the SE. And when in gaming, again, it's going to be down to the bigger screen because the performance itself is going to be pretty similar, and there's no real overheating on either of these phones. Let's go into Instagram, and you can see Instagram is first here for the left. So yes, the SE a little bit snappier. Like I say, your day-to-day apps should be a little bit snappier for the SE, and the scrolling gonna be nice on both of them. Really, neither one of these are 90 Hertz or 120 Hertz. These are not ProMotion displays, so don't expect that. The difference in experience is really the gestures and the bigger screen, or the smaller screen and blazing fast performance. Let's go into Twitter on both, and Twitter does open first there for the iPhone SE 2020. And again, so close. I mean, there's not gonna be a big change. Let's go into eBay, and you can see eBay first there for the SE. I just think that it's gonna feel just a hair quicker on the SE just because it has a faster chip, but it's not gonna be like one of those differences between the 6S to the SE 2020 or even the iPhone 7 to the SE 2020. Let's go into Geekbench. But if you loved your XR and you just wanna go down smaller, you're getting similar performance. Let's go into Antutu Benchmark here. And the Geekbench actually opened first on the XR. And it looks like the Antutu is going to open first here for the SE 2020. That was our prior score from our prior speed test. So at the end, I would say that these basic apps don't show a big difference. I do think the SE is a little bit quicker when in the app, and I do think the gaming is going to be a little bit quicker for the newer SE, but some of these apps are still not optimized for this phone, whereas they've been updated to support XR. So some of them are going to take a little while to get updated for this particular model. At the end of the day, you're getting pretty, I would say, similar performance on both of these. It's going to be down to you want the smaller size though, or the bigger size. Now, both of these do have 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's see how they do perform when in, going through the RAM management here on both. And I don't see a big deal of difference on this right now. I mean, versus the XR, you're going to see in a minute. Just checking that out, really no big problem. Now, I do think that the experience of swiping the gesture feels nicer though on the 10R. It seems quicker and just more polished to just kind of fling that app out of there than touching a home button. But some people still are going to prefer the smaller size regardless of the home button. But thumbs up if you would like to see a smaller iPhone this size with that type of screen. That would be pretty amazing. So let's test the icons. We're gonna long press on the App Store and you can see pretty similar. We'll long press on weather. Again, pretty similar. This is not gonna be a big difference, and they both have a haptic press. So when you press them down, you will feel a little bit of a vibration. These aren't 3D touch though. But again, moving apps around, everything is gonna be pretty similar. So no big deal difference in opening the shortcuts. But what's nice about this phone is that you have a haptic press, but older iPhones had 3D touch. So that could be a downgrade for some people. So let's go ahead and do a Wi-Fi speed test. Now, I've always been a little bit disappointed with the iPhone XR's mobile performance, like with LTE. But when it comes to Wi-Fi, let's see if it can stack up to this guy right here. So this guy does have the Wi-Fi 6 chip and it's pulling in right around 170 in this test. My prior test was a little bit more, but you know, certain times of the day, the internet slows down depending on when people wake up and stuff like that. Everyone's using it. So 188 download here on this one. And we have about 12 on the upload. That has stayed pretty consistent. And we'll see what the 10R can pull in. So you can see our download for the 10R a little bit better than the SE 2020. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get a big change in Wi-Fi here on the iPhone SE 2020. But when it comes to mobile, I'm gonna look into that to see before the full comparison if the SE does better when it comes to phone calls, holding reception, things like that. Okay guys, so it's been a pretty close matchup so far, but let's see which one does do better when it comes to the video rendering. We'll hit save video on both and we'll see which one can save this quicker in 4K. 3, 2, 1. And remember, this is the A12 Bionic, this is the A13. The A13 wasn't a major jump from the A12. So we will see. I would not be surprised if the 10R wins or if the iPhone SE 2020 wins. It's gonna be pretty close here. Again, I found in benchmarks, this seems to be underclocked, this A13. So maybe it's actually more like an A12 in performance. We're gonna see when we do Geekbench after this. But you can see that the 10R looks to be ahead, but I think the SE might catch up towards the end here. Looking pretty close though. Again, 4K, about a 1 minute and 3 second clip, and doesn't look like a huge change. Yep, the SE wins there. So a little bit faster than the 10R. And as the clips get longer, I'm sure it would extend just a bit, but you gotta decide, do you wanna edit on a smaller display or the big iPhone XR's display? That's definitely a question you can have for yourself. Okay guys, so let's do a SunSpider test just to see which one can do a faster internet performance. Like I say, the only thing I really was annoyed with the 10R was the LTE performance. Other than that, it's been pretty good. And you could see a little bit faster for that SE 2020, not by a ton though. So going from your 10R to the SE 2020 is faster, but it's not gonna be by a lot. It's more that you want that size of that phone. And so let's run a Geekbench test on both of these to see how they do perform in this benchmark. I will be back when they are done. Well, look at the final results here. The 10R with the faster multi-core score. Something's going on with this A13. This is not the A13 we're seeing in the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max. I do think Apple did not optimize this one for maximum performance, but are you mad? No, because the SE's faster in the single core. To get a phone as fast as the newer iPhones in the single and Apple iPhone XS, the iPhone XR, for $399 is still flagship grade performance, but the 10R took it in the multi. That was pretty shocking. Let's go into Antutu Benchmark and we'll test these. Okay, so our final scores are in, and 366,684 on the SE, and over here we do have 358,727 for the 10R. And I noticed the screen got dimmer here for this iPhone, so definitely stressing the CPU, GPU right there. The benchmark, not that much different for the SE versus this iPhone XR. So at the end of the day, iPhone XR versus SE 2020, which is quicker? The SE 2020 is a hair quicker, but it's not as big as a difference between this and the 11 Pro based on our benchmarks. And you've seen throughout the day-to-day apps, it's really gonna come down to, have you had enough of the big screen? You want the smaller body? You will like going back to the SE. If you don't want that smaller body, you're done with that old design, stay with your 10R, you'll be just fine. So what are you guys gonna do? Are you staying with your 10R or are you going to the SE? Let us know down below. Are you just getting this as a side piece phone, maybe a B phone? Let us know down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Stay safe out there. Be sure to be well, and peace.